you unlock it?
The glass kick? No. It's done. It was due at the beginning of class today.
What if you?
What's this here?
Okay, so the problems that you were given in the homework, the bowling problem, the how many quarts of blood problem, the how much money problem, they told you in all of those problems what the letter was that you were going to use to represent some changing number in the problem. But really, most of the time, you are going to have to decide what that letter is that you are going to use. Okay? Deciding what letter you're going to use to represent the changing numbers in the problem is called defining a variable. Define a variable means pick a letter and say what it is going to represent. So here's the problem. Marissa wants to buy a DVD player. It costs $150. She already saved $25, and she's going to save an additional $10 each week. Okay? Write an expression that represents the total amount of money that she has saved after any number of weeks. So be quiet, Carlos. Just listen to me, would you please? Right here where it says any number of weeks, that's telling you that's a number that you don't know. That's going to be changing. That's a number that you're going to have to represent with a letter. The unknown number in this problem, okay? Now, you also don't know how much money she has, but because it's an expression, we're not going to put equals the amount of money. We're just going to write the expression to how am I going to get how much money she has. So you have to interpret the words, right? Now, this problem is more complicated than it is supposed to be, and later on you'll get this in a better way. The fact that the player costs $150 means nothing to this problem, what you have to do, okay? Because you're trying to come up with an expression that represents how much money she has. She starts with $25. That number is not changing. Doesn't get multiplied by anything. It's just $25. Okay? And then she also saves $10 every week, which means after 1 week, she's going to have $10 more. After 2 weeks, she's going to have $20 more. After 3 weeks, she'll have $30 more. 10 times the number of weeks is how much money she's going to add on to the starting $25. Yes?
I think we did the answer.
What?
I think I know.
Okay, hold on. So the first step in these problems, figure out what the unknown or changing number is. It's the number of weeks here, and define a letter to represent that. Okay, the book says let W represent the number of weeks. You don't have to write a sentence like that. I do it by just writing this, W equals weeks. That's defining the variable. Defining the variable. Pick a letter. I picked W because it reminds me that it's weeks. You can use X all the time or N if you want to. Okay. Then you have to write the expression that matches the math here. $25 she starts with, plus she adds $10 times the number of weeks. So your expression, your answer is 25 plus 10W. This kind of problem is very challenging for some people. Translating the words into an algebraic expression. Very abstract concept. Not very easy to just see what to do, okay? So some of you may have trouble with this one.
Wait, did we ever get the answer?
The question is asking, write an expression that represents the total amount of money she has after any number of weeks. It doesn't ask you how many weeks she has to save. That's solving an equation, which we will do in the next unit.
I was going to say how much money she got.
The actual answering of how many weeks will it take for her to buy this is a problem for the next unit, which is why I don't like that they put it in this problem.
$375.
Okay. All right, next example. If Marissa saved enough money to buy that $150 DVD player in 11 weeks, okay, will she have saved enough money in 11 weeks? So now they're giving you a value, a number of weeks to put into the expression. This is like you did in the homework problems yesterday. right? So if it's 11 weeks, you substitute in 11 for the number for W, and you see if she has enough money.
She can't.
She does not have enough money. Remember the order of operations here, right? You do this multiplication first and then the addition. So she has $135, not enough. She does not have enough. Okay, then they go to the next example, and stupid book, right? They don't make you define the variable here. They tell you what to use again. I can't believe they did that. How annoying.
Oh, no, that's if you think the book is stupid, then why do you give it to us?
Because most of it is great, right? That you have all these things already written down. You don't have to write all of this on a piece of paper when I'm teaching.
But you can
right?
just make it up on a class kit. Why do you give
It's
the book
not-
to us?
We only got ClassKit this year. It's the first year we've ever used it.
I'm gonna eat my book.
You know what I mean?
So if I were to write this problem, I would not say this, X, and X is the number of downloaded songs. I would not tell you this in the problem. I would just ask you to write an expression, and you would have to define a variable. You would have to say X equals the number of downloaded songs, or N or S equals the number of songs, or something like that. So the book already did that for you. They told you to use X. So it's $70, and that's the MP3 player, right? Which is your phone now for most of you. And then downloads are 85 cents, $0.85 each. So for X number of downloads, it's 70 plus 0.85 times the number of downloads. Then they tell you how much will 20 songs cost. What am I going to do with that 20?
How would you buy 50?
You're gonna throw it out the window.
But what?
84.
What am I going to do with this 20? If they're asking you to find the total cost if 20 songs are downloaded, what am I going to do with the 20? What am I going to do with it in my expression here? Yes, I'm going to multiply it eventually.
Why?
What is the next step of work show right here? I'm looking for the cost if I download 20 songs. There is going to be multiplying, but what does the next step of work have to show? Miles, for what? Yeah, replacing the X with 20. Substituting the number they give you, 20 songs, in for the variable that represents the number of songs, which is X. So you substitute in 20 for X. Now I can do the multiplication, 0.85 times 20. You would use a calculator for that. Okay, that's $17 plus the $70 that you paid for the DVD, the MP3 player. And the total cost then is $87. Yup. Not really. Okay.
Another one.
On page 352 are these problems. I'm going to skip 1, 2, and 3 because we kind of already did those. And ask, they did it again.
You got happiness. You got happiness.
This dumb book. Very annoying.
I think this is actually kind of funny.
So instead, what we're going to do is I'm going to go to the homework. Okay? I'm going to go to the homework assignment, and I'm going to show you how the first problem needs to be done. It's a class kick. Actually, let me see what the IXL does first.
No.
Yeah, feeds people.
All right, so the IXL for assignment here,
Oh, nice. Yeah. Save that.
Oh, yeah.
okay? Now here, so just so you know what's coming in the IXL, all right? IXL is going to give you a word problem, and I think all of them will tell you what letter to use, right? Kenny has P peppermints. We don't know how many he has. The letter P represents the number of peppermints that he has, right? Nathan has 17 fewer peppermints than Kenny. So Nathan's peppermints are less than Kenny's. Choose the expression that shows how many peppermints Nathan has. Olivia, what do you think the answer is?
Third one.
The third one, 17 minus P. Okay, what this means is that Nathan would have 17 peppermints minus the number that Kenny has. Oh, that's not right, is it? Yeah, because then if Kenny had 20 peppermints, Nathan would have a negative number of peppermints. That's not possible. I guess it's possible if Kenny has less than 17.
Just thought so.
Yeah.
The T50.
So Kenny has P and Nathan has 17 fewer.
Is this T50?
17 fewer means to take away 17. So the answer is this one. This would be Kenny's peppermints minus 17. That's how many Nathan is going to have. It'd be that one. Okay. All right. So the first thing to do here is define a variable. Define a variable. What does that mean?
84.
Make a number.
7
Yeah,
times
number.
26.
Not make a
See
number.
what the number is.
Nope. What does define a variable mean? What does that mean?
You have to find a number in the variable.
No number.
You have to find a letter that's.
Pick a letter to represent the number that you don't know in the problem. This is not part of the problem yet, right? So what number do you not know in this problem? Usually we'll say any number or some number of some things, right?
How many students?
Yeah, so the unknown is the number of students. What letter do you want to use to represent the number of students?
26.
S?
97.
Okay, so if you want to use S,
I said F. but I-
F,
Yeah.
why would you use F for the number of students? You would either use N or S or X. Those would be the
What
choice.
does S mean? Success?
I'm gonna use S.
F. I use F because failure.
Okay, this is defining the variable. Pick a letter and say what it represents. S equals the number of students.
26.
Then write, so that's this part, define a variable. And then write an expression for the total cost of the trip. What is that expression going to be? How much does the trip cost if there are S number of students going?
7 times S.
7 times S. How do I write that, Carlos?
7x2.
7,
7xs.
not X. I'm not using it.
7s.
7S, right? 7S, not 7XS. Because that X looks like a letter, right? That's why we don't use it anymore. 7S, that's the expression. That's it.
What?
What is the total cost if 26 students go? What do I need to write now?
7 times 26.
7 times 26 is the substitution step. 7 times,
182.
26.
182.
right? That's 26 students, and that equals 182 is correct.
Guys, I'm smart.
But 182 is not the answer.
What?
What is the answer?
$182.
There you go. $182. Okay, that's what your work should look like for this problem. That did not take very long.